Hey there, hi there, ho there, you beautiful, ravishing viewers. This is Asada, and you are tuned in to Gathering of the Griots once again on a Tuesday morning. Thank you for being here. We have a wonderful guest today. Oh, we love our children's authors so much in the Soulful Chicago Book Fair world. But before we start that and hashtag Title Tuesday, let's give homage to our none other than the female solution who makes this all possible. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
All right, this is the female solution. So before we get started with our great guest today, I'm so excited. I'm not going to say who she is. We are going to do our hashtag Title Tuesday tributes because it's Tuesday. And yes, hashtag Title Tuesday. What does that mean? That means that we look at all the titles that are going to be at the August 9th Soulful Chicago Book Fair, starting with what? Happy hashtag Title Tuesday to Izzy Bizzy Goes to the Zoo. Ow. We're going to see some more of that today. Then happy hashtag Title Tuesday to Neo and the Blue Balloon. That is by Mia Dawson and Brenda Major. Next, The Pines by Fanny Price. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday to you. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday. Hashtag, look at that. Can't say that fast. Love Doesn't Hurt by Kay Shani. Then we got The Girl with the Magical Shoes by who in the world made this, my girl? Honey Thomas. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday. Oh, Love Unconditional. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday by Kay Shani once again. Oh, we got a little word search. Bad and Bougie, Self-Care Word Search. That's by Peggy Colbert. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday. Then we got Delivery Dog Daisy, more children's books. So we got great children's books. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday to you, my dog, neighbor, and friend. Then we got Fame, a poetry book by none other than our sponsor, Robert Horton. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday to you. Coming from Japan, Gaikojin, The Story, Book 2 by Taquana Maru. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday. Then we got Done in the Dark, a novel, by Tamara Morgan. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday to you, Done in the Dark. Then, One Dead Activist, that's part of that series by my man, Tony Lindsay. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday. Chestnut Checkers by Tony Lindsay. We bringing them from Tony, baby. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday. And then finally, the same, Tony Lindsay, More Boy Than Girl. Those going to be some good fiction books. Happy hashtag Title Tuesday. So yeah, y'all, we rocking and rolling. We got so many. We got over 100 titles already that are going to be featured in the book fair on August 9th. So get your calendars out and get right in for what's coming up. So when I bring on this next guest, let me tell you what I want to do. I want to bring them on this way. Let's take a look-see.
Hi, my name is Penney Jack, and I'm the author of Izzy is Busy. In this episode of Izzy is Busy, she decides to give Jackie Wacky, her doggy woggy, a bath. What situation is she going to find herself in now? You'll just have to come out to the Soulful Chicago Book Fair to find out. See you there.
Saturday, August 3rd, 2019. You see, she was rolling with us back then, 2019. I am going to bring to the stage none other than Penney Jack. What's up, my little baby?
Hey, Miss Sada. Miss Sada Water, how you doing?
Sada Water, baby. Y'all better get it together and know who I am. So thank you for being on Gathering of the Griots today. We love, love, love your work. We love the books. I have so many things to ask you today. So many directions to go. I guess the first thing I want to know, are you native to Chicago? Is this where your stories come from? Like what's your background?
Okay, well, yes. I'd known no other city, no other state but Chicago.
I know that's right.
Born and raised here. Love it. Absolutely love it. It is so diverse, as you know, and yes, it has truly added to my experiences in terms of writing and just in terms of how I view life and my life and children's lives.
Now, that's what I was gonna ask you. I was gonna ask you, did Chicago encourage your stories? You know, did they have some make you shape your stories in some way? And so, because I know just living in Chicago, I'm just oh God, so many experiences that add to this nuance of who I am and my what I have to not only what I'm doing now, but what I'm planning for the future. I want to get into these books because it's a lot because they're your books, but then there's the mindset behind the books, and we're going to get into both of those. But I want to take a look-see wooksy and ask what look at that. We got a whole language going. A look-see wooksy. I
There
want
you
to
go.
ask, yeah, how what inspired you to even come up with writing children's books? Like why a children's book?
Okay, it's a sad but very not really sad. My husband passed in 2013,
Mm,
and um, my son and his partner were expecting their first baby. And
mm,
my husband loved children, and he did not get there he is right there. Hi, Rodney. How are
mm,
you?
mm,
He did not get a chance to see Isabella Jack, Isabella Simone Jack. He would have spoiled her beyond compare. And so that is truly the inspiration for me writing Izzy Busy, The Adventures of Izzy Busy, so that I could still share something with him, even though he wasn't in the present reality, but he's always going to be a part of my reality.
I love it. So we got the husbands involved and your inspiration. Now, your characters, what do they come from? Because that's a whole another something. And I think that do me a favor, move your camera to a little bit. I want you in the middle a little bit. It's yeah, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there we go. I like that. Now, what was that about? Because a lot of times our stories come from right in front of us. Who in the world are your characters about?
That's really interesting because I had to, sometimes I really have to think about that because my characters, as someone ask if someone asked me, sometimes I can't really say, but then if I really take time to reflect, I do know where they came from. And they to your point about Chicago, growing up in Chicago, my brother and I, my younger brother who is no longer with me, um, he and I experienced Chicago in our backyard. We lived in a two flat on Ingleside in the Woodlawn area. And we played, I did mud pies, he did piggy, all of that. And within that space, we experienced most of our world, and there were all kind of characters that we came across. And so as I began to create Izzy Busy, I thought about some of the people that we used to play with that were my playmates, and somehow I transferred some of their characteristics onto the characteristics of my characters. But let me say this: television influenced me a lot. Series such as, I'm going to tell my age here, The Little Rascals. Um, there, any of those series where there
Mm-hmm.
were children, Dennis the Menace.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the in other words, who they were and how they viewed the world was exactly how I viewed the world.
Okay.
It didn't really make sense to me what adults were saying, but they were always funny. And I,
Okay.
and I always found something to laugh about, and they found something to laugh about with me. So my characters are really a reflection of my history, my past, very much.
Good. Then
So,
you got down to the nitty gritty of what I did. My daughter has a book, but the reason she got a book is because I'm like, somebody need to experience her, like in the way I experience her every day. And so we
mhm.
got these characters here. Talk about these folks right here.
Oh my goodness, those are my peeps. Those are, those are my main peeps. That's Izzy Busy, Isabella Simone Jack. She was 6 months old there,
Mm,
and that picture just it just captured her so much. When she was in her mommy's tummy was jumping all the time, and I said my saying was, "She's that baby's gonna be busy."
mm, mm.
Thus, there's Izzy Busy, and Izzy is busy.
Can I just say this real quick? Can you show that dog? Because that dog looked just like her. Show
You
that
want to
dog.
show
Sh-
Jack?
yeah,
Come,
give me
come here,
that
Jack.
dog.
Come
No,
here,
no,
baby.
no, no, the doll.
Oh, doll.
Because the doll looked like her. Look. Ah, hold on. Let me try to get a big old picture of that. Look at that. You can't tell me that doll don't look like her. Itsy busy baby. Ah,
This
I
is
love it.
Izzy Busy.
I
We even
love
have a
that.
song. But yes, absolutely.
Now, what is she
Um,
to you? What is she? Your granddaughter?
she is my granddaughter. She is
Gotcha.
currently 11 years old,
Oh,
does
nice.
not live in Chicago. I
Okay.
talk to her on a regular, and she's just naturally funny
Yes.
without trying to be funny.
Yes. Okay.
And so she says things, and I I you have to laugh, but she has so much insight. The depth of her is
Nice.
beyond her numerical years.
Nice. Nice. Now, who's Pagey Wagey?
Pagey Wagey. All right, I got to show you. Can I show you? Well,
Of
I'll tell you
course.
a little bit about Pagey Wagey first. This is my first grandchild, first
Mhm.
granddaughter. Paige is now a going into her senior year at Morehouse College. Not Morehouse, I'm sorry. Howard University.
Nice.
She is smart as a whip, straight A student, um, in, uh, and just so very, very personable.
Nice.
And Paige is she's highly organized, very structured. And so whenever I thought about her in terms of who her character was going to be, she was going to be Paige. And so Paige would say something to you. She would talk to Izzy Busy, and she'd say, "Hey, Izzy Busy," and it just flowed. It was just her. Here is I was going to show you a picture. This is
Oh,
kind
hold
of
on. Let's
how
look at
I.
that.
This is basically how I kind of um, developed her character based on this is her spirit.
Okay.
This is her spirit. She was running for president in her school or something. I don't know.
Nice. Nice. Okay, cool. Loving that. What I want you viewers to acknowledge is how one, and I say this all the time, you see a lot of our guests, their stories are exemplary of the people around them. It's not like you got to pull from some space out of time. It's just in your life, you
Hmm.
creating these experiences. Now I want
Hmm.
to get a little bit into oh, we can't leave him out. Wait, where my boy at?
Who?
Jackie Wacky.
Jackie Wacky. Jackie. That's
You
Jackie
ain't you
Wacky.
ain't got to pick him up if he not accessible, but
That is
y'all see.
so. And she's usually isn't that a unbelievable. She's always right here at my feet and she's gone. Maybe she'll
That's
come back.
okay. That's
That's
okay.
Jackie Wacky. Jackie was like somewhat like a gift to me, not to replace my husband, but to also join the family so
Sure.
that she could also embrace the fact that he started all of this.
Okay.
And so Jackie is a major part in the book,
Nice.
as most of my family members. So yeah,
Nice.
those are my three main characters.
Now I want to show you. I want to go. I want to just show y'all before we get into the characters. My girl has been with us. Look at all of these book fairs that she's been a part of. This is the book fair. It might have been a holiday book fair. Oh no, that I don't know what book fair that was, but this was our children's book fair here. You rocking with the mother and the daughter. Um, you this was another, I think, holiday book fair that we had
Hmm.
on State
Christmas.
Street.
I think it was
Yeah,
around Christmas.
yep. It was on State Street. And so this is awesome. I want to read this because this is something that you wrote. Did you know this, little girl?
Yes, I do.
You
Hmm.
do? Okay, cool. I just want to read this. And you guys, it says, last Sunday, July 15th, 2018, I accomplished something I hadn't planned on, presenting as the author of my first book in a series of children's books. Izzy is Busy Goes to the Zoo said hello to the public for the first time. This was possible because of the Soulful Chicago Book Fair started by Asada Kirkland. Every encounter with my customers filled my soul with the spirit of a literary event and genre, diverse children's books, and it was so needed in our community. By the way, I sold 68 books out of 100 books. Not bad for a new newbie, huh? I thank Asada for providing an experience I won't forget. See you and more authors of all genres next year. Oh, I love that. I love that. So that was your first time rocking and rolling, huh?
Yes, it was. It was
And
my first rodeo.
yeah, your first one. So I think that is such a great impression to be able to sell that many books out of. I tell people bring 100 books if you can't bring more, and then but your ability to sell like the majority of that. What did that feel like? We heard a little bit about it, but did that let you know? Okay, it's time to keep this thing going.
No, no. The
Not
reason is because I didn't have any expectations. I didn't know what to expect.
got you.
And you were the one that brought it to my attention that, hey, this ain't bad. 68 out of 100. My mind says, yeah, but I want to sell all of them. Well, guess what? So it took you to put things in perspective for me and say
Got you.
that, if we talk about percentage, 68 to 100, well over half. Okay.
Yes, well over half, and a lot of authors they don't have that experience. But I think one of the reasons why you have that experience is because your work is so wonderfully done. I just want to take a look see at this, you guys. Look
And
at
look,
the illustration. I mean, the illustration is so. I mean, it's just like the doll. It's just like the person, right? And so, talk a little bit about this book and your intention with writing this book. What did you want this story to exemplify for young readers?
do you know what, Asada? It's really interesting because I've been thinking about this since obviously I knew I was going to do this with you. And my answer is always the same when somebody asks me what was the impetus. I didn't have any. I think I started creating the book, as I said, as a result of losing my husband and the fact that he was not going to be able to see his granddaughter. And so I think just happenstance. I was honestly just lying around, lying, just chilling one day, and this story came to my mind. It wasn't so. I'll tell you. I remember now. The story Izzy Busy Goes to the Zoo came to my mind because that little leopard outfit she has on was given to her by an uncle. and she was 6 months old at the time. He gave it to her for Christmas. All I could think of is who would give a baby a leopard? That
Ah,
who does that but a
okay.
man, right?
Okay.
Just because. But you know what? She put it on. It was the cutest thing I had ever seen.
Nice.
Izzy Busy was born. That's
Nice.
when Izzy Busy was born, in that leopard outfit.
In that leopard outfit, baby.
In
With
that
the
leopard outfit. And so that was my inspiration to her character. And
nice.
so my point is that with her, she's so funny and she's so natural. And then with that little leopard outfit on,
Right.
she couldn't be anything else but a
More adorable.
character, but
Right.
a character. And
Right.
that's how she was born.
Now, in this story here,
Mhm.
in terms of the message that it gives, she goes to the zoo and she feels a particular type of way. Can you talk a little bit about what was the whole drive behind what she chose to do?
Okay, so first let me read off of the back to help to kind of explain
Okay.
who she is, how
Mm-hmm.
she thinks. I've written Izzy Busy, or Busy Izzy, is a sweet and precocious little girl whose only problem is that without planning it, she always finds herself in unusual witchies or
Mm-hmm.
situations. And then I go into talking about Pagey Wagey and Jackie Wacky. The point here is that from an adult's perspective, we see things obviously totally different than children see it. And so without intending, she gets into things, there's no intent. She just processes differently than an adult would.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it puts her in these precarious situations that she must get out of. But she always learns a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And that lesson, it just kind of developed without intention of having empathy.
Mm-hmm.
She tends to um, uh, personalize everything that she encounters because she thinks and feels like everything and everybody has feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And so, even though she may have caused calamity, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, the lesson is going to be shown to her and she is going to understand, okay, I got it. I might have been a mess up,
Mm-hmm.
but something good has come out of this. I
Right.
learned and the other people learned.
Right. I think what's so great about this story, I mean, the girl said, look, I do not like that these animals are closed up in here. And she make a decision like we gonna free the animals. We gonna free my man lizard. And that's what let me show that picture. Oh Lord, the girl went and took the lizard from the dog on thing. That was hilarious. And they after her and she is bye-bye with the
She
lizard.
she has oh, she got the guard's key and unlocked all of the animals. And in her mind, she freed them.
Right.
She didn't understand that Lizzie, the lizard, was really, Mr. Lizzie is his name, was really home with his mama and Papa
Ah,
Lizzie.
right,
She didn't
right,
know that. But
right.
so for her, she didn't mean to unlock everybody, but everybody, all the elephants and the tigers and the lions and the bears, they escaped too.
Yeah.
So they're hauling through the zoo, and everybody in the zoo is running behind them. I don't, how that came about. I think for writing, I think that as a educator, that is one thing, and I put a lot of emphasis on literacy,
Yeah.
writing. And the one message that I always tried to send to my students was that you are the master of these words.
Mm.
So, whomever you are, say it. All
Mm-hmm.
right. You know, we've got our conventions, we got our mechanics, we have all of that. So you hand your story into Miss Jack, and then no. But yes, I may change the mechanics where you should have used a verb instead of. It doesn't matter. The story is their own. And so as Izzy continued, this is what came out of me in creating her, that she had her story and she had her own way of seeing the world.
Mm, See, and look at this. I want to read what this says here, because they are, she done connected with the lizard. She said before she left,
Yeah.
she thought it best to explain to Mr. Lizzie that she felt sorry for him because he was locked up behind the shiny, whiny glass window, the window house that he called home. So she thinking he's, she's freeing him and all of that. But like you said,
Mhm.
nah, baby girl, I'm okay. I'm with my mama. I'm with my, daddy.
They had a ball. The animals had a ball for the time being. The guard and then all the patrons at the zoo, they were ripping and running. They got their exercise. There, there they go. There they
All of
go.
the animals. And
All of the animals. But at the end, they were very happy because Mama Busy explained to Izzy Busy
mm,
that unlike what she was thinking, they really were happy to
okay.
be where they were because were with one another. They were friends and they had joined within a community and they were fine. And that she understood it then. And she was like, well, okay, Mr. Lizzie, guess you gotta go back. And, but she was fine. She learned, but she could not have learned that if she had not been empathetic to what she perceived as their plight.
Sure. Let me ask, because the
Hmm.
illustrations are phenomenal.
Hmm.
Talk a little bit about that. Did you have the concept for all of these illustrations, or did your illustrator sort of look at what you wrote and come up with what he came up with?
I had no concept uh, as to how the characters would look other than Izzy Busy. I
Gotcha.
based Izzy Busy. The first photograph I showed of Izzy, where she's a baby, um, that's how I wanted her face to look.
Gotcha.
And so, yes, I did. In terms of the other, and same with Paige, because I know them. And so I know their character. And so, yes, and let me say something about the illustrator who is with my husband in that vastness, that beautiful vastness in the sky. I had never met him in person. I was introduced to him by a friend. I communicated with him. He didn't even live in Chicago, he lived in California. I communicated with him. I told him I was interested in him illustrating a book for me, children's book. Um, I sent him the content. He went crazy. He started sending me the illustrations. And let me say this to you, this young man, he had he was very well known in Chicago in
Mm,
terms of an artist. He had worked on clothing designs, all kinds of things.
okay.
He literally took this project on, and he would call me sometimes. Every weekend, he would call or he would send me some new illustrations, some black and white sketches for
Okay.
my approval.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say yay or nay. And sometimes when I said nay, he said yay. And I
Okay.
trusted him. I trusted him.
Gotcha.
And he was just a side note, he actually illustrated for Walt Disney.
Wow.
He used to work for Walt Disney Studios.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And so as you see the vividness in his coloring. I
Mm-hmm.
used to think I asked him, was he drawing by numbers? Because I couldn't
Oh,
believe.
Right, right. It's
That
so
was,
well done.
it's so detailed,
Yeah,
but it conjures up. It made me smile every time he came up with a new character.
right, right. Exactly. We are going to go to a commercial break, but if you all want to call in and talk to Penny Jack, the number is 727-731-5192. Take that down. I do have it scrolling at the bottom of the screen, but we're going to take a quick commercial break and come back, deal with the second book, but then we're going to go into the mindset behind all of this. What's behind all of this? So stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
All right, you guys, that's Soulful Chicago Book Fair coming back to you August 9th. Get yourselves together. We got the book fair website at the bottom of the page. Excuse me, www.soulfulchicagobookfair.com. If you're an author, go ahead on and go to author submission and register so that you could be approved. And if you want to know details, you can go there and we have them for you if you're just a book lover. So my love, Penney Jack, that's who we're on with, guys. She is a children's author extraordinaire. We love her work. Want to look at her second book before we go on to the mindset behind doing these books and just look at the beauty. The first book was about my girl Izzy Busy going to the zoo, but now Izzy Busy Jackie takes a bath. Oh Lord, this story! I said, oh my gosh, this child crazy right here. But what I loved about this book is I loved the incorporation of the other granddaughter, the older one. I loved her incorporation of her in this story. So I like that they were all chilling, didn't know what to do for the day, and got the girl look at her, and she looking just like the granddaughter. So I love that. Talk a little bit about what inspired this story.
Interesting. Um, Honestly, I think what inspired it was the fact, in terms of both of them, both of my granddaughters, uh, are funny to me. I mean, and they're naturals. They just say things. They call me Mana, and they say, "Mana, how come the oldest one, Paige, goes? She imitates me all the time." Well, guess what? I imitate people all the time, so she imitates me. They're just funny. So that was truly their personalities was my inspiration. But as far as this particular story, Jackie gets a bath, I have no idea how that formulated in my head. I just, for some reason, I, I try to, again, I try to always think, put myself in the in the child's shoes. And so I was thinking, okay, so what precarious situation could Izzy get herself into now? Parents left, Paige was in charge, like a little teenager. She got busy making sandwiches. Izzy Busy decided, oh, here's my opportunity to do something I can't do when mommy and daddy are around, when mama and papa busy are here. So what did she decide to do? I think I'll give Jackie Wacky a bath. Well, guess what? She told him to jump in the tub, but his little legs were too short. So he couldn't. Well, where's the next best thing? Oh my goodness. Not the commode. I I almost stopped myself because I said, I don't think parents will be happy with this. We know how children try to emulate everything they see, but the more I thought about it, the funnier the whole idea became to me, and I could actually see a child doing that. And when she told Jackie Wacky to jump into to the clean as a whistle, so it was brand
Mhm.
new,
Yeah.
brand spanking new. And Jackie went whirly twirling around. And let me say, the thing that was really important for me was to use rhyming words.
Sure.
So spanky wanky, pagey wazy, izzy busy,
Yes.
sitchy witchy. That is how children, in my opinion, learn how to read. I mean, how to read lyrically.
Sure.
And so it was really important for me to incorporate that, because when I am doing my book fairs, my motto to my parents that come to buy my book, I
Hmm.
say, never say a child cannot read.
Yes.
If they can rap, they can learn how to read.
Oh, girl, we're gonna come to that in a minute. We actually have a caller, and let's see if they want to come online. Last four numbers 8405. You're on the air. Say who you are and where you're calling from.
Good morning.
Good
This is,
morning.
this is Attorney Wendy Williams, just checking in.
Oh,
How are you
nice.
guys?
We are lovely, Attorney Wendy Williams. We love having you on the show today. Thank you for coming.
Not a problem. I always enjoy the female solution. I'm just listening in and I'm trying out this new method of contacting and getting on the show.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Look, I'm glad we got a place for you to go ahead, practice it out, but definitely listen in because this is where we celebrate Black writers, period, point blank.
Oh, right. Good. I will be listening in.
Thank
One
you.
of my own personal aspirations. And who am I talking to? The host
I
today?
am Asada. Yes, I am. I'm the founder of the Soulful Chicago Book Fair. And our guest today is Penney Jack. She is a children's author and she did a lovely series.
Katie, Grand Rising, and congratulations from me, Wendy Williams.
Thank you very much, Wendy. I appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you for being here today. And we look forward to supporting you in the future.
Thank you. And I'd just like to add a note. Uh, did anyone know that our beloved Kwanzaa Kunjufu had passed away?
Yes, Jawanza
Yes.
Kunzufu.
Yes,
Yes.
I did know. Yes.
Oh my God, I was devastated. I think he was less than 75 years old.
Yeah, he was in that range,
Yes, he
definitely. I saw it
was.
on social media yesterday, but another prolific black writer who handled it. I mean, I remember as a college student using his work in my work all the time.
Yeah.
So, but definitely, thank you for bringing that up. We pay homage to him and the work that he's done big time. Countering the conspiracy to destroy black boys.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Solutions and the solutions that he, gave to us. Naima and I interviewed him on the show. I used to be a host on Thursday,
Okay.
and Naima and I interviewed him, and he was so great. In less than 20 minutes, he gave us everything that we needed.
Wow.
It was so great. I was devastated.
Wow.
Yes, he had all this. It was all right there. And also, just as a footnote, just recently, I discovered the broad, maybe epidemic of ADHD. So later on, I'll talk with Naima. Maybe later on, we can do a show and interview a female doctor of education, research, and policy.
Okay.
Share that information about ADHD and how soon it shows up and how it goes undetected, and what we can do about it, even if we find out much later. I would like to do some sharing on the female solution with it.
Okay. Well, you sound like one of our regulars, and not only one of our regulars, but somebody who will be able to contribute to our content. So I'm very appreciative of that and want to thank you for calling in today, big time.
All right. And you guys have a great one.
Okay.
And you too.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. So yes, my darling Penny, thank you so
Mm-hmm.
much for we glad we got people tuning in. We got somebody, here's a comment too. Oh, Zelda Robinson said, Grand Rising, beautiful, bodacious mind, opening authors. Yes, I love it. There we go. People chiming in and
Good. That means they're watching.
yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And seeing the excellence. And so again, I just love, love, love this Jackie takes a bath. The fact that they were in the toilet bowl cleaning up life, honey, that had me rolling. I said, because I've seen the book, but I didn't really get into the story of the book. And so just love that, loved the incorporation of both granddaughters. But I also love how you end your books. You end them saying, I wonder what Izzy Bizzy's next adventure will be. And I love that sort of leaves the person looking towards the next story of each book. And I thought that this was a great way to do that. And not knowing what that story is back there, those shadows, and looking at her, you really did a wonderful job with creating, sort of a cliffhanger into the next story that people, that you're going to bring out. Do you know how many stories you'll have thereafter? Like how many books are coming after this?
I have these two. Izzy Busy goes to the zoo. Izzy Busy gives Jackie a bath. I have three more that have
Oh,
not
nice.
been, three more that have not as of yet been published.
Okay.
I've had the models uh, uh, made mock copies. And so
Yes.
this one says Izzy Busy's first birthday.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
This
Nice.
is Izzy Busy and the Busyette family.
Okay. Wow. I love it. Go ahead, girl.
And this one is Izzy Busy, the ringmaster.
Wow. Will you be able to have any of them ready for August?
Are you putting me on the spot, Asada? I think you
Put you
are.
on spot. Put you on spot. Yeah, that's cool. They look so good and
Yes,
intriguing. I'm so
yes,
happy about it.
I probably
You
will.
can aim. Yeah, you can aim for that. It's just an aim. Well, one of the things I want to do is I want to get into the background of the books because we know that they're based on family members. We know that your granddaughters and your Chicago experiences are part of it. But I want to look into this here, Penny's passions. You mentioned a little bit before being a teacher. And so it talks about you writing and reading being a passion and your family. And we definitely got the family part. But when you were a teacher, what were you a teacher of and what grade was that?
Okay, I taught elementary school from third to sixth grade at different
Gotcha.
points. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Um, and we teach across subjects. So I taught everything from math, social studies, but language arts was my specialty.
Got you.
I loved language arts. I loved helping children develop their writing skills. In other
Yes.
words, helping them to create their form of communication.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there were obviously there are things that we learn that we have to learn in order to function in this society. Um, but there's so much that children have to offer that sometimes they may not say it verbally,
Mm-hmm.
but if you encourage them to write and not constrict them
Okay.
to a certain format in terms of development, how I'm going to develop this,
Mm-hmm.
create the story, and then we'll work backwards
Nice.
and clean it up if that's what you want to call it. All
Sure.
right.
Sure.
And so yeah, as a literacy fanatic, because I mean my kids will tell you, when it comes to writing, please, you know, please write it,
Yeah.
share it,
Yeah.
because these things can leave a legacy. There you go. Because as we know, that's how we learn our history. We've learned it, we have our oral history, but we
Mm-hmm.
always had also have our written history.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
if we begin to understand, and all of us do, I think, understand the importance of leaving our history with someone, will never go away.
And that's so important because when I see this whole leave a legacy, when I think about my daughter's book, that's exactly what I'm thinking through. I'm thinking about her daughters and then her daughter's daughters. Like she has Urban Girl Adventures, but her children, her daughters can be urban girls
Mhm,
as well.
mhm.
How do you see the leaving a legacy concept in your work?
Um, m- Both of my girls, uh, granddaughters, I think that they love to express themselves.
Hmm.
Whether they'll become authors, I have no idea.
Okay.
But they are unafraid to to write what they feel and
Mm.
how they feel. And that does me so much good, because this also is this also helps to build character, because I'm free to express myself. And so in terms of a legacy, if I pass that legacy on to them, to your point, hopefully they will pass it on to their children, and the story goes on and on and on.
On and on to the break of dawn. Let it be known. Now, right
There
now.
you
That's
go.
right. And I mean, that's what I think part of this work is setting the example.
Hmm.
Because I remember when my daughter she wanted to make money, and I knew how to be an author. So write a book. Like I can pass on that skill set because I have
Hmm.
one myself. And so to
Hmm.
be able to create that and teach her how to do photography and get her to get a product out based on the fact that I did it myself, I think that's important. And it's exemplary. They see that you did it. It makes it seem easier to do because you did it. Now, this next concept here, um, you say, how do we nurture the love of literature for our children? And you had some feedback on that. Talk a little bit about that. Here's some of the tips that you had on how to foster literature appreciation with your young ones. Here it says, one, talk to your baby, right? Even when it's in the mommy's tummy, right? Then it says, teach empathy always and everywhere. Read as often, right? And it says as early as possible. to your child and let your child see you reading, right? That's important. And then you also said ask questions, get their thoughts. Can you elaborate a little bit on any of that? The tips that
Well, sure, sure. Reading is, in my opinion, it is something that helps to develop the mind. A book, I'm a firm believer that we should never get rid of the written text, because the messages that appear in between the words, those are that's where we are forced to think, to develop an opinion, to develop a thought that may be different than anybody else's, but it's relevant because it's yours. And so when I came up with those tips, I was thinking, what can we do as a uh, community of readers and learners to prepare our children to develop themselves to the nth degree? And the one thing I said is, look, okay, I tell my parents, I do believe that children, babies can hear you. They say that they sense sensation sounds. So why not? Why not start that early? The next is, what is it? Teach empathy. Again, I think that it is so important for us to understand and appreciate other people's thoughts, their feelings. They may not coincide with ours, but it helps children to at least to formulate an opinion. I mean, what would the world be if we didn't have opinions or thoughts?
hmm
And I don't know what the other one, the
Oh,
other
let me
two.
go back. Let me help you see. Let me help you see. You
Okay,
read as
read as
often as possible.
often.
Yeah.
Oh, again, it is so important. I push the idea, a book in hand is a plan.
Say that.
A
I
book
like that.
in hand is a plan.
You made that? You made that up?
Just right now while I'm looking at
Whoa,
you.
baby. Well, let me write it down. I'm gonna put your name. I'm putting on
Yeah,
social media. Putting on social media. A book in hand is a plan. Ooh, I love it. I love
I'm
it. Go
glad you're writing it because I won't remember.
ahead.
But no, honestly, um, and that's why I think it's so important that, and that's why the Soulful Chicago Book Fair is so valuable, because we actually have text that we have words on a page. Well,
hmm
first of all, we had to be introduced to what these words mean. So that's a whole process in and of itself.
Yeah.
And then we are asked to interpret that. What does that do? That helps to build a mind. It helps to, and so please, uh, all of us, do not get rid of our books. Please make sure your children, grandkids, whomever, still have books available to them. Go to the Chicago Book Fair. And the last thing was what?
Ask questions, which is my favorite actually, because a lot of
Mhm.
times our communication with young people, we're vomiting on them and just talking at them and not. That's why Charlie Brown's the only adult in Charlie
Wah,
Brown.
wah.
Right.
Mhm.
But when you actually sit and ask them questions and give them an opportunity to contribute to the topic, contribute to the conversation, you're going to get a different quality young person. It's just that simple.
If you are asking me, if I'm saying to you, empathy happen to become the overriding theme to these books, how many children below uh fifth grade maybe
Mhm.
know what empathy means?
Right.
We don't. So
Yeah.
I can give you, I might be able to give you a dictionary
hmm
definition,
Mhm.
But how does that actually look? Give me some examples. And many of our examples come out of the stories that we tell. That's how we learn. Hmm.
Period. Point blank. And I'm so happy.
Period.
And I'm so happy about that you have that point there. Um, this here talks about, if you said this earlier, if children can remember rap, they can learn to read.
Hmm.
Period. Like, because that's all, I have something in one of my slides of one of my presentations about people say young people today don't read and write as much as we did. But no, children today read and write more than we did because they text and post. It's
Hmm.
like that's how they communicate. They are texting away all day. Now, syntax, grammar, and all of that stuff, we can add that later, but we need to acknowledge them and make them feel good about their usage of this. And this is a skill set. I actually have a workshop where I had young uh, folks make stories out of their texts that were in their phones or on social media. And so we just got to validate them with what they're already doing. It reflects what we've been asking for. And then I love this here. This is how it starts. Now, who is this little man with this book?
This is a friend, very close friend's little boy. He's probably about 6 now.
Okay.
And she does not live in Chicago. And
Okay.
so she wanted the book, and I mailed it to her.
Nice.
And she sent me a text when she got it. And I guess maybe he was 3 or something when she really started reading it to him. She said that he requested. He always I want to read Izzy Busy. So that's him when he was a baby.
Nice. Love that.
Hmm.
Well, we only have like 2 minutes left. This time goes by so fast. Um, little bit. I wanted to add this to the stage because you were a big component of our metaverse. And this is a picture of you in the metaverse looking at your book on the wall. What was that? What was the highlight of that experience for you? And if you don't know what a metaverse is, guys, it's simply a digital world inside of the computer where you can interact and grow. So in the last minute or so, tell us, just forward thinking, how this and your experience with the Soulful Chicago Book Fair encouraged you to keep moving.
Well, let me say this. You introduce us as authors to another platform,
Mm-hmm.
something called the metaverse. And
Mm-hmm.
so that technology. I don't think any of us we weren't familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, you, it created a site, a online site for us to sell our books.
Mm-hmm.
And there were different rooms. This one happened to be the conference room.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found was that it was I just found it absolutely fascinating. I was so happy to be a part of it because I was also able to share that technology with my friends, people that
Mm-hmm.
came into the metaverse. I could sell them books. We had a conference. I'm at a conference right now. The only thing that troubled me was the logistics, how you move that avatar, that's me, how you move it around. So oftentimes I wound up on the table, on top of the table, and somebody had to talk me off of it, but it was great.
That's hilarious. Penny, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for seeing the value in the Soulful Chicago Book Fair and what it does by way of promoting authors and literacy. And y'all can see Penny and her books August 9th at the Soulful Chicago Book Fair. We'll be looking forward to seeing you there. And thank you for being here today, beautiful.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. You
Thank you so
guys,
much.
see you next Tuesday, and we love you. Peace.
Peace out.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, zhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jareh. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.